The Chicago Bears are at a crossroads. The pieces are falling into place. The defense has its cornerstone in Montez Sweat, but let's be real, one elite pass rusher isn't enough. If Ryan Poles wants this team to contend, he has to find a second edge rusher, and he has to do it now. The Bears have made strides in building a competitive roster, but no championship-caliber defense survives without a dominant pass rush. This is a team that wants to be aggressive, wants to be physical, and wants to make life miserable for opposing quarterbacks. And right now, they don't have enough firepower to do that. Montez Sweat has been a game changer since arriving in Chicago. He's a disruptor, a guy who commands double teams, and the kind of pass rusher who makes everyone else around him better. But as dominant as he's been, he can't do it alone. Teams are game planning for him, sliding protection his way, and daring the Bears to beat them with someone else. And that's where the problem starts. The Bears don't have that someone else. They've tried different options. Last season, they brought in Yannick Ngakoue, hoping he'd provide a consistent presence on the opposite side of Sweat. But injuries slowed him down, and he never became the impact player the Bears needed. The result? A defense that was inconsistent in getting to the quarterback, a defense that gave opposing QBs too much time in the pocket, and a defense that struggled in key moments because they couldn't close the deal with sacks. Look around the league and you'll see a clear trend. The best teams don't just have one great pass rusher, they have two, sometimes even three. The Dallas Cowboys have Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. The 49ers have Nick Bosa and Chase Young. The Eagles have Hyson Reddick and Josh Sweat. The Bears, they have Montez Sweat and a whole lot of question marks. That has to change. So what are the options? How can the Bears find the missing piece that takes this defense to the next level? Free agency is one path, and right away one name jumps out, Khalil Mack. Yeah, Bears fans know him well. He was a dominant force in Chicago before they traded him away, and now he's back on the market. But is a reunion really the best move? Mack is still productive, no doubt about it. He had a strong season last year, showing he still has plenty left in the tank. But he's 34 years old. He's not a long-term solution, and his price tag is going to be massive. If the Bears are already paying Montez Sweat over $24 million per year, does it really make sense to drop another $20 million on Mack? That's a tough sell. Instead, the Bears might be better off looking at younger, more affordable options in free agency. Josh Uche from New England is an intriguing name. He's got speed, explosiveness, and upside. He's not a finished product yet, but he's young enough to grow into a more complete player. Another option? Darrell Taylor. And guess what? The Bears already made a move for him. Ryan Poles traded a 6th-round pick to Seattle to bring in Taylor, and that's a sneaky good move. He's got 21.5 sacks in 3 years, and while he's not an elite player yet, he's got the tools to be a very solid contributor. But one signing isn't enough. The Bears need more. And that brings us to the NFL draft. This year's draft class is loaded with pass rushing talent. The Bears hold the 10th overall pick, and they have to seriously consider using it on an edge rusher. One name that keeps coming up is Mykel Williams from Georgia. This dude is a beast. He's got the size, the strength, and the athleticism to be an immediate impact player. He's the kind of guy who can develop into a cornerstone pass rusher for the next decade. If the Bears want to solve this problem for the long haul, drafting Williams would be a huge step in the right direction. And if they decide to go offensive line in round 1, that's fine, because there's still plenty of edge rushing talent in round 2. Braylon Trice from Washington is a name to watch. He's got a relentless motor, and he's the kind of player who just finds ways to get to the quarterback. Adisa Isaac from Penn State is another option. He's a little raw, but he's got the physical tools to develop into a major contributor. Here's the thing, Ryan Poles has to break an old habit. The Bears have not prioritized edge rushers in the draft. Since 2014, the only one they've taken in the first 4 rounds? Leonard Floyd. That's it. And Floyd didn't even hit his prime until after he left Chicago. The Bears can't keep making that mistake. They need to invest in young, talented pass rushers. The best teams in the league build through the draft, and this is the perfect opportunity for Poles to make sure the Bears aren't left behind. This is a critical offseason. The Bears have a real chance to make a leap, but they can't afford to ignore the pass rush. Montez Sweat is a great start, but he needs help. Whether it's through free agency, a trade, or the draft, Ryan Poles has to find a second edge rusher. Because if he doesn't, the Bears will be stuck in the same cycle. Flashes of promise, but not enough firepower to truly compete. The impact of a great pass rush goes beyond just sacks. It changes everything. A dominant edge duo makes life easier for the secondary. It forces quarterbacks into bad decisions. It shuts down running lanes. It tilts the field. When you have two legit pass rushers, it's a nightmare for offenses. Just look at the teams that have made deep playoff runs in recent years. They all have elite pass rushers. If the Bears want to join that conversation, they need to act now. So what's the best move? Should the Bears go all in on a free agent? Should they draft an edge rusher early? Or should they double dip and do both? Bears fans, let me know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you want to see rushing the passer opposite Montez Sweat? Should the Bears go after Khalil Mack, or is it time to move on? And if they go the draft route, who's the guy you want them to target? Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, bear down!